Their motto is always like express yourself, be creative, have good friendships, be yourself. But also, brats were considered the bad girls and the sluts of the doll world.
Hello, my LGBTQs, and welcome back to another episode of A Jaded Gay. I'm Rob Lovelace, and today I am a little bit of a jaded gay just because I went for a run with my running group, which it was great, beautiful weather, felt good running, had a great time, except for the fact that things are in full bloom, so I am sniffly and sneezing up a storm. So pardon me if I don't sound like my normal self during this episode, just giving you that warning now. Anyway, from pollen to pop culture, today I am very excited to have a special guest coming to talk to us about his experiences as a pop culture collector. You know, in past episodes, we've talked about different aspects of pop culture, from queer media to pop music, and how all these different outlets have unique appeals to gay men. So today we're going to look a little bit deeper into how pop culture collecting, specifically Bratz, can bring queer people together and form a sense of community, both online and in person. But before we do, you know the drill. Tarot time. So today we drew a major arcana card, and that is the Hanged Man. It's number 12 in the major arcana, and in numerology, we add double digits together, which equals 3, and 3 is tied to creativity, collaboration, and community. Also, the Empress is number 3 in the major arcana, which is all about receiving love and creativity, so these cards are somewhat connected. And when we draw the Hanged Man, it's encouraging us to welcome the pauses in life. You know, sometimes we're so focused on moving forward on a project or activity, but then something pops up and we have to wait to continue forward. And while that may seem discouraging, there's usually lessons to learn from that. So this card is encouraging us to see the opportunity around us as we wait for the next step instead of trying to push against forces that are keeping us from moving forward. And with that in mind, I am very excited to welcome our next guest. He is a barista and Bratz collector. Please welcome Chris Angelo. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. And, trying this again for all the listeners out there, this is the second time we're recording the intro because some technical difficulties here. I mean, it's been one of those weeks, so it makes sense. But glad to welcome you again, Chris, to the show.
Thank you again.
Awesome. Well, as we were talking about, we are going to be talking all things about Bratz, pop culture, its connection to LGBTQ plus culture, which I'm really excited to talk about. Before we get into it, though, Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you identify, pronouns, background, how you got into Bratz, all that fun stuff?
So let's see here. Name is obviously Chris Angelo. I am a barista in Pittsburgh, and I don't know. I have a boyfriend. We live together. We've been together for like 2 years. I got him into what I've gotten into, way I've gotten into Bratz is, I don't know, they've always been in my life since I was like not young, like they only came out in 2001, so not like forever ago, but like my younger cousin, and when they were like at their like height popularity, she always had them around me, and they were just cool looking things, and then fads grow and they die out, and and then I got really into them whenever I was actively using meth. Weirdly enough, is when I was alone, like coming down from it. They have every episode, every movie, everything on YouTube. So for some reason, that's what I put on to either to calm myself down, to come down from whatever. And then I just got hooked into what the movies and the shows were. And then I started looking online for other people that not collected them, because I hadn't started yet. Because if you saw what's behind me and to my left, it's a lot. But yeah, then I found people that were just like me, and then I had to learn about a bunch of stuff about the Bratz and about that kind of community, and it's a whole different community than you would think.
Well, I can't wait to get into all that. Before we do, though, I like to ask all my guests, today, are you a jaded or non-jaded gay, and why?
Oh, I'm totally a jaded gay. I really am. I try. Yeah. Why? It's because men are awful. They really are. So that I think that sentence alone makes me.
I can second that. And it's so fitting you say that now because I just saw a meme on Instagram with Gabby Windy, who's from The Bachelorette and then The Traitors. And I think it was in her most recent podcast episode. She's like, there's a lot of things, something along the lines of, there's a lot of things that are bothering me that are getting under my skin, but right now it's men.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
never fails.
It will always be men. Even if you have a good one, it will always be men.
Yeah. Well, I think today we're going to try to avoid the talk of men and focus on the divas that are brats.
Thank you. That's fine by me.
Well, I know you gave us a little bit of a background of how you got into Bratz, but can you tell us more about yourself and your relationship with pop culture in general?
I I love it. It's addicting to be honest. Like I try and like know a lot, and then there is so much that I will never know a lot of it, and then there is some of it where I'm like, "Oh, I know all this," and then someone will tell me like, "What are you talking about?" But like even as like growing up as like a middle schooler, I got really into it with all like the pop girls and all the pop music. I will never forget, which I just did recently. I would get any kind of magazine and just cut every little picture out. The picture could be like full page, like miniature, and I would hang it on my wall. Oh, I love doing it. It was ridiculous that how small I would do, but like pop culture has always been there, and it just made me like feel better, even if it's like it can be dark sometimes, but like nah, it's a good thing if you stay on the right side of it.
And why do you think pop culture resonates so deeply with gay men?
I think it's because I think it's because a lot of pop culture has to do around like not and women I say, and not because we're into women, because like I don't know, for myself, you always feel a little bit closer to women if you're a gay person, like a gay man, usually, and a lot of them, stick up for what we believe in and our rights and stuff like that. So pop culture in like that sense, I feel like us gays will resonate with. And then even like now shows have so much, well, they try to put so much gay into it that like it's better for us now and not like, where they shy away from it or try and hide it.
What does it mean to be a pop culture collector?
It means you spend a lot of money. But no, no, I mean, that is part of it, unfortunately. But it's honestly, it gives me an escape that like I wasn't allowed to do, or like, if like I'll be at work and I'll come home and go up to the floor that my boyfriend and I have made for like what we collect and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like it feels like a whole different world and house, even though we're in the same house. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's very time consuming, but it's not time consuming in a bad way. It's time consuming where like that's literally like once I've met a bunch of awesome people in the doll community, which, as most communities are very toxic. But you weed through the toxicity in each community and you find the right spot where you should be. But yeah, you find a lot of things to take up your time. I've learned how to customize dolls, not fully because I don't have the there's a lot of artistic skills that people can do. Like people will take off all of the hair, reroot the entire thing. I will I don't have the patience for that. I have tried, it does not work. I make my boyfriend do the tiny little things, so that's what I mean. I've integrated him into what I've liked, and he's never once like also complained about it. I think he low key enjoys it just as much as I do.
That's awesome. And with that in mind, can you tell us about Bratz?
Bratz. Okay, so they came out in 2001, and they were like the first like competition for Mattel and Barbie. Because their motto is always like express yourself, be creative, have good friendship, you know, be yourself, and that's where I think they separated from Barbie. but also brats were considered the bad girls and the sluts of the doll world because of what they looked like and how short their outfits were compared to what Barbie looked like. I think Mattel sued MGA, which is the company that does Bratz, because of how strong the competition was. I might have that fact wrong, but I know there was definitely suing happening.
I remember when they came out because my sisters had the Bratz dolls around the time that they were little girls. And I know there was definitely some controversy around how the Bratz dolls were perceived with their big lips and the eye makeup. And like you said, the shorter outfits and the more trendy hair.
Yeah, the brats were, I don't want to call them sluts because they're definitely not, but that's what I've seen that word thrown around from like people, and that from mothers mostly. But like that's not how it is at all. They're just a different doll. Not every doll is for every person.
And you told us a little bit about when you first got interested in Bratz, but can you tell us more about when you started collecting the dolls and then what inspired you to start your Bratz Instagram account?
Whenever I started collecting them, I would never forget I bought this like lot on Facebook Marketplace. It was some dad trying to get rid of his daughter's stuff. I I had no idea what I was buying, like, because I was bored on my couch, and I was like, "Let's buy this." And I met him at the Sunoco across the street from my house, took this big bin in my house. What did I do with a lot of it? I think I gave away a lot of it to, like, my friends and stuff, and then I donated some of it because I was like, "I don't know what any of this is," and I kept some of it and just kept it, and then once I really started, then you learn there's a whole website, it's called lookinbrats.com, and I learned so much from that website. I There was this one guy I met, and he was like, "Go on this website, you will learn so much, like, what you have, what you need, what you're looking for, all this stuff," and then that's where it started, and now it's I learn something new every single day, and I get a package, like, mm, it's a lot. There's because I have an app called Macari that I buy them on, and then there's a live auction app that I just recently started having an addiction to. That one's the worst because I was drinking last weekend in my house, and I was on it, and I bought something. I don't remember buying it. It came today, and I was like, I don't remember buying this, but cool. Oh yeah, I started my Bratz account when I started working. It was after the pandemic because I didn't go back to the coffee shop until I don't remember, like, right after the pandemic, like, once everyone started, like, going back to work and stuff, and then they were like, we want some, like, new ideas for" at the owners at the time were like, "We want some new ideas to, like, bring it," and I was like, "Well, I have this Bratz doll that can, like, you know, dress it up to the season or, like, make it look like" it started out very slow and very just it was just me. Like, I just dressed up a Bratz doll for the season or or just to look like a barista at first. And then they got a little bit more creative as I kept going, and the people were liking it. And then once I met my current boyfriend is when they really started being more elaborate, and ever since I met him, now I can't stop. And it's funny because everyone at work goes, "Oh my god, you are so talented, you build all these things." I don't build anything. He builds them all. I tell them, and I am proud of this, and I tell him I pay for everything. He lets me tell him what I want, and he does it. And like I said, if he didn't wanna do it, he wouldn't do it. So, like, and like I said, I think he also enjoys it. So, and he's a very, creative and talented person where, like, you can tell him one thing and, like, you don't have to tell him again. Me, it would take me forever to build these things that we have built. Like, last year for Pride season, I made him it's ridiculous. I made him build me an umbrella. Not made him, I asked him to build me an umbrella. I bought 2 different umbrellas and had him take it apart. Had both because I wanted a rainbow umbrella with a hooked, like, handle. Yeah, I'm a little bit crazy, but you know what? That's what sometimes it being crazy works for some things like this.
Well, with all that in mind, what's your favorite Bratz doll and why does it hold a special place in your collection?
Okay, so I was just recently thinking about this, and there is one. It came out in like 2010. It's a boy, and when it came out, like originally, everyone was like, "Chris, this doll looks like you," and like I have a picture of it when I took the picture in 2010, still on my Facebook, I think, and I just recently realized that I have him, and then I was like, "Wait a minute." That's the one that I used like that someone made to make the customized me that I have now. So weirdly enough, the doll that everyone thought looked like me, I used and didn't put it together until like just recently.
That's awesome. And what does a day in the life of a Bratz collector look like?
Okay, so I go to let's see, my day is once I come home from work, it's like usually around 3 o'clock. Um Depends on how tired I am. So let's say I'm not tired. I'll come up here and depending on what I have to like what I'm doing, like if it's something for a display at work, I have a couple like personal projects that I'm working on. I'll either like do some clothing parts of it or like recently learned how to flock hair, which is like on the sides of like a shave, like a boy's haircut, like the fibers on the side. I've recently gotten really good at doing that because I've also done beards and stuff too. So like, it depends on what you have. Like recently, since I just like finished the room that we're in, I would take like a certain amount of time and just put some up on the wall whenever I would get shelves, which is another thing. I think I've never spent or bought as many clear acrylic shelves as I've done in the past like few months. But Mac Bids is my friend for that. Yeah, it's you and depending on how like because if I repainted dolls or if I like rerouted dolls or stuff like that, that's what I think I would come home and do. But now one of my plans is since all of mine are no longer in bins, they were just in bins because I had no room to put them all. Um, I want to take every like collection down and wash and take and like clean them all. But then I'm also working on making a little mini photo studio in this room that I'm in. And then I'm also working on something else.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, in what ways do you think the Bratz brand has impacted queer culture?
Oh, it's they Um, I think they're one of the very I mean, they all do like, I think all brands do something like Pride, whether if it's, like, big or not, but I will say the Bratz definitely are in it because they have 2 characters that are lesbians, and they came out with I think it was a few years ago, they came out with a whole but not whole, it was just 2. It was like a double pride set with Jimmy Paul, and it was the 2 they were Never and Roxy were their names, and they came in, like, rainbow outfits with, like, lesbians, it's really awesome, and I'm actually looking at the picture of it on the wall over there, but, like, I had it in the box behind me, but I recently just took it out. But yeah, no, they'll come out with like videos for them around like they'll do stuff around Pride and everything like that. I think they've even had like Pride T-shirts, but yeah, I've not ever seen a brand do something like that before with the LG. I want them to do a Pride Boys, but they haven't yet.
Oh, well, maybe this year, maybe
Ah,
2025.
I wish.
And how has Bratz allowed you to find your community within the LGBTQ plus community and also build an online community?
It's it's because to be honest, a lot of Bratz collectors are either gay men or girls. So, or then and you have trans people and everything like that. So, like, but a lot of the people that collect them are people that weren't allowed to in like a younger age. But then you also have like the girls who were allowed to have them, but they still have them or they like refound their old collections. But I found a lot of people that like are like me and either didn't do them at all, like didn't just were around them, but like, you would have been like, you family would have been like, why do you have a doll? Or like now it's just like now it doesn't matter if I do or not. I don't feel the need to tell people. You know what I mean? Like I don't like people not close to me. I don't just like outward say it. You know what I mean? I don't go walking around like I collect Bratz dolls, but no, it's you definitely find a lot of people in the doll community that you can connect with and be friends with. And granted, they might live across the country in a different, like they can live in, I've met people in the UK, not in person, but like I've talked to so many different people and we meet, I love it.
And you're talking about how some of these collectors are overseas or in other parts of the country. I was curious, what Bratz related events are there, especially as it ties to the LGBTQ plus community?
To be honest, I don't know of many. I know they will have like, and it's usually in LA. It's usually in LA. But like they'll if they work with a makeup brand, they'll have like one of those like event parties for that launch or something. I think they had a party at their like 21st birthday, you know, as like a 21st birthday party. Like it's just it's from what I've seen and from what I know, I think those are the only type of events they have.
And we also experienced Bratz Summer last year. So, how did this intersect with Bratz?
Such a fun summer. It's Brat forever. But I think people I think like Brat collectors and Brat lovers like thought of it as like integrated, but weirdly enough, it was never like by Charlie XCX or Bratz. They never did anything. It was never like integrate. It should have been, but I think some people just kind of combined it and like made it one thing, but it's definitely two different things. It was yeah, which like I said, I'm shocked that it was never more of a thing because it was Brat and Bratz, but
Yeah, it seems like a missed opportunity there.
right? It was a miss one.
Well, again, going back to Bratz as it relates to the LGBTQ plus community, what have you learned about yourself as a Bratz collector and immersing yourself in this community?
I have learned to deal with money better. At least I'm trying to. I'm trying to, it's adult money, so like I don't want to go nuts but because people also like price gouge everything for that. But I've also learned with myself is there's no rush for anything. Like I I enjoy what I'm doing. Like I I'm not doing it to like get famous or like do my Instagram to get famous or whatever. Like, it's if like stuff goes viral, it's that what would, but like I cool. But like me collecting all of this stuff, it's for me and I enjoy it. And people that come up here, which hasn't been many yet, but if you want when you see it, it's legitimately I wanted it to be like a whole experience up here. So like I've learned how yeah, there's just you learn and you also learn, like, meeting people from all over the world, you get to see how people, like, collect and what they do with theirs and how people display theirs and you learn things from different people, like, I've learned how to do certain things on my dolls that I never knew how to do, so it's it's a I've learned a lot. There's a lot to learn. And I still am.
And beyond Bratz, what positive impacts can being a pop culture collector have on gay men?
I think I honestly think, like, collecting some sort of pop culture gets you into, like, a little community, like, if you collect Funko Pops or if you collect Marvel things or, like, any, like, Wizard of Oz stuff, there will always be people to talk about these things with. No matter if it's just online or if it's a convention or, like, some sort of, like, toy show, which I go to toy shows if you go toy shows are great because I go to them, they're, like, every few months or something like that. There are so many people. You can meet so many different people. Even the people selling the stuff you can, like, talk to. I mean, not all are nice because 'cause I've met some of them, but, like, there are plenty of people that you can meet if you want to immerse yourself into a collecting world.
And what advice do you have for anyone who may be interested in starting to become a pop culture collector, especially as it relates to finding their community?
Watch out for scammers. They're everywhere. Um, I think just be careful, like, especially if you're starting out. Like, if you don't, like, find, like, 1 or 2 people that'll help you, like, in the beginning, then just be careful. Because I've seen plenty of people get scammed out of, like, money lots of like they'll send people like they'll trade online and they'll send something and oh no, the person's gone. And like I and also if you meet up with real people in real life, you never know. Like most of the people that I've met, I definitely for sure know that they aren't like fake people, but you never know what's out there. Because face and especially and if you're buying stuff on Facebook Marketplace, be careful. Some girl told me that she drove an hour away into the middle of nowhere for a few dollars, and I was like, she was fine, but she's like, I have no cell ser she had no it was I was like, "What? You never know." Like I said, these Facebook Marketplace people, they'll sell them from anywhere, so just always be careful. But then once you're in it, it's so much fun. You have so much fun. You will spend a lot of money, but that's inevitable, so it's not a bad thing. It's so much fun, and I don't regret any of it.
And connecting it back to the tarot, the Hanged Man, again, being number 12, we add double digits together, which equals 3. And in numerology, 3 is all about creativity, collaboration, and community, which I think we can really see in this episode. Not everyone relates to the gay gym culture or the party scene or the hookup scene. So sometimes we have to be creative to find those areas within the gay community that align with our authentic identity. And like Chris talked about, it's easy to want to spend all the money and buy all the dolls, but sometimes it's good to just pause and be in the moment. Like Chris talked about, he has his room dedicated to all things Bratz. So when he's not buying a new doll or doing a project on one, he can go to that room and kind of just enjoy the solitude in that space he created. And through that, he's also fostered an online community with people both in the country and overseas who also collect Bratz dolls. And for ourselves, whether it's Bratz or some other aspect of pop culture, there are so many venues to connecting with others in the LGBTQ plus community outside of going to gay bars or the gym. Sometimes it can feel tough, but I can guarantee whatever your interests are, you're not the only one interested in that. It might take a little longer, but it's really worth putting in the work to finding those other like-minded individuals to form your own community within the community. So maybe right now you're feeling stuck in this pause where you're having a hard time finding those like-minded people. Instead of trying to push forward by trying to fit some mold that feels inauthentic to yourself, get a little creative and see if you can find other ways to create collaboration and community. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been a fun episode. As we're closing out, can you tell all the listeners where they can learn more about you and connect with you both personally and your Bratz collection?
Yes. So my Bratz Instagram is the Bratz Barista. And then my personal one is _ Chris Angelo _
And once you're done listening to this, definitely check out Chris's page. It's so much fun. You're going to love it. And you know the drill for the podcast. If you have any questions or feedback, you can reach out to me, rob@ajadedgay.com. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. 5 stars only. I greatly appreciate it. For more information on this episode, our guests, links to resources, merchandise, blog posts, socials, all that fun stuff, you can visit the website, ajadedgay.com. You can connect with the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, SoundCloud, and YouTube @ajadedgaypod. You can follow me personally, Rob Loveless, on Instagram @Rob_Loveless. Also, if you're feeling generous, consider supporting the podcast on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. That gets you instant access to episodes ad-free a day early, plus exclusive monthly bonus content. Or if you just want to access the monthly bonus episodes, you can purchase them for $3 each. And if you're scared of commitment, don't worry, I get it. You can make a one-time donation on Buy Me a Coffee for any dollar amount, and both of those are @ajadedgaypod. And remember, every day is all we have, so you gotta make your own happiness. Bye!
But a lot of the people that collect them are people that weren't allowed to in like a younger age or like sorry, I saw a bug on the wall. Ew.